Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to actually be talking about my thoughts on Marathon itself. So I know I uploaded a video earlier this week that was kind of talking about Marathon, but that was more talking about just the toxic things that I had seen on social media about Marathon, not legitimate complaints about the actual game and what it could be, but more of just kind of bashing people for having the idea of liking the game and not just outright hating Bungie. All in all, I'm just gonna say I am decently positive about the game. Now, don't get me wrong, I am definitely not on the negative side, but I would say the main things that keep me on the positive side are the fact that I've been itching to play an extraction shooter that's easy to access. I think that this one will be easy for me to access because it's Bungie. I'm familiar with what they do. I'm familiar with the Tiger engine. Like I said in the last video, 7,000 plus hours on Destiny 1 and 2 combined, and I'm still playing to this day. I just played earlier today. I just want to say that off the rip, tell you, yes, I'm positive about it, but not extremely positive about it. I'm definitely not negative or neutral, but I'm just positive about it. That being said, I'm going to go over some of the main points that I had written down in some notes that I wanted to go over for this. So the first things that I'm going to go over, I think I want to go over the negative stuff first. So first point, not much was revealed, and older gameplay reveals had more depth. I'm not gonna lie. I remember the Taken King trailers for Destiny 1. I remember the trailers for Halo Reach. I remember the Vidocs, the developer videos, the This Week at Bungie articles, the websites that you could go to, the community events, Halo Waypoint, like all that stuff. It's not present. It's just not present. This presentation felt kind of weird because it felt more like a small panel within a larger game reveal like thing going on. Like we had so much build up from the ARGs and the community stuff and the cryptic trailers and things like that. We've heard nothing about this game since they announced it. So it's finally coming down to it. Things are getting excited, tension's building up, and it kind of just didn't hit a climax. It's kind of like they're still building up to the next thing. We saw the gameplay, it looked alright. We saw the art style and this and that. We got a small rundown of the story, but if you know Marathon at all or any other Bungie game, their story usually has a lot more depth. They did not really do anything about that. If you remember old Halo trailers, or you can even look them up, they had like the music in the background, the montage of Master Chief doing stuff. You can hear Cortana yelling for help in the background, like just the vibes of it. And granted, it's been a long time since I've seen those things, but I remember the feeling of them. I don't exactly remember every frame of those things, but I remember the feeling of them. Feeling like this was just something completely different. It was legitimately exhilarating, which is really nerdy, right? It's video games, but that's how these things make us feel. Marathon did not really do that. It kind of felt like it was some other game studio. It didn't feel like Bungie. Now, objectively, I think everything they did wasn't wrong. They didn't do anything wrong, but they didn't push anything either. We know Bungie for being extremely creative, extremely passionate about their work in the past. We know this, and we know that they can do a lot more. We saw Final Shape. Dude, Destiny was terrible for a fat minute. Once they were like, hey, we're done, we're cutting everything, we're doing these layoffs, y'all are gone, we're done with Destiny, that's not our main focus anymore, they locked in with Final Shape and then immediately turned around and kind of slapped us in the face with it and told us that they weren't caring about Destiny anymore. Essentially, that's really how what it came down to. Y'all know what I mean. That's just a long-winded way of saying that Bungie didn't really do Bungie this time when it came to the reveal. Now, my next point kind of goes hand in hand with that. They didn't really expand on the story. Now, I know in my last video, I was giving a bunch of head canon. Oh my goodness. Head canon about what I thought was going on, because I played Marathon. They really did not expand any further into the story. Like, Marathon, yes, was a little bit more bare bones with the terminals and things like that, and I really wasn't doing it justice in the last video, but there was still things going on. Durandal was still talking to you, and Leela was still talking to you, and still like, it wasn't all just cryptic, oh, the way the winds moved and destroyed us and things like that, like all this poetic shit. It's there, but it's not always there. They did not dive into any of that. They did expand a little bit more with the story trailer, or the cinematic trailer. They did explore a little bit more to the runners and how they are and things like that. And I gave my headcanon about that. Outside of that, though, we haven't seen anything else. There have been some interviews since the reveal with developers, and they talked about, a lot of people asked if there was going to be a marathon map and things like that, like the ship marathon. If you didn't know, the game is named after the ship in the game. A lot of people were asking about marathon being a map, and they were all like, they would shrug their shoulders and be like, oh, we don't know, we can't tell you, and things like that. So I really think there will be. A lot of the playtesters were saying that there was more than just the 1 or 2 maps. There's like 3 or 4. They just can't talk about them, and we didn't see them in the reveal trailer. I keep trailing off on my point. Yeah, we just didn't get a lot of story with it, a lot of story reveal. There was no reclaim this, or hey, Durandal is still around, or anything like that. It's legitimately just all cryptic, which is something I don't really understand why we're doing that this late in development, because like, I would understand if 2 years ago this happened, when they did the initial announcement and they revealed all this stuff into this would have been fine for 2 years ago. But we're around, what, 6 months away from actual release, and we still have this little. That's a little concerning. Next, not enough information in general about the game. So like loot worth, end goals, in-game matchmaking, anti-cheat stuff, and network talk, all that stuff didn't really go over in the initial reveal. I did see in some interviews they talked a little bit more about the gameplay stuff, about the final timer for the whole game, how many people are in the game, why it's like that, and things like that. It just wasn't enough. Like I said, like, really all of the negativity that I'm having, or my negative opinions for this stuff, is a lot of just like nothing being there. There's like the content stuff, like the actual gameplay, showing some combat, showing how the map looks and things like that is great. But if the game is really what it's supposed to be, in terms of like, people say about Destiny that it's a mile wide and an inch deep, like, that's kind of how it feels. Like, there's a whole lot going on the main picture, but there's not a lot in depth. It's not thick. There's no substance to it. It's just like, you know, it's just there. It's just ideas at this point. Being this late in development is a little concerning. Lastly, I'll say, that kind of ties into, it feels like Bungie is relying on the closed alpha to do all the speaking for them. I feel like they're really ambitious about Marathon, and I feel like they truly want to do something, but they just don't know how to say it, and they don't know how to relay that to people, which is another point. The marketing was not great, and that ties into everything else I'm saying. It's not like exhilarating. It's not like the old stuff that they used to have. It didn't really show us much. It didn't really give us much to be excited about other than the gameplay itself. It seems like they're relying on the closed alpha to give them the rep that they want. Because if you signed up for the alpha, right, it tells you on there you cannot speak about your participation, you can't record footage, you can't stream it, you can't talk about it, all this other stuff, and you have to press agree to it and everything like that. And I'm sure they could legally hold you to it. At the same time, opening a closed alpha to hundreds of thousands of people, or I'd say at least even 20,000 people. If only 20,000 people get access to the closed alpha, do you think that all of them are not going to do it? And that's a point that I saw Astacross point out too. And this is something I talked to my wife about as well, because I was telling her about that the day of, an hour after the stream ended, the reveal stream ended for Marathon. We went and registered for the alpha, and I was telling her about that. I was like, dude, there is no way that they can really keep people from doing this. I think that they're trying to do this to make things, like, I don't know, be mysterious, and so people can like see things. And it sounds like conspiracy theory tinfoil hat stuff, I know. They're probably just mishandling things, but I feel like they're trying to pull something mysterious by doing that and not really showing us much, but just telling us like, okay, well, wait, look, the closed alpha, you'll see. Play the game and you'll see. Play the game and you'll see. Man, bruh, we've seen that before with other studios. With Bungie, it hasn't really been the case, but man, that would really suck. And I think that's about everything I had for the negative points that I had. And I'm sure you have more. If you do, definitely comment about it. Like, I'm definitely open to talk about it because we're all part of the same community, right? And even if you don't consider yourself a part of it, just interacting with this stuff makes you a part of it to me. And to everybody who interacts with this stuff, we are all equal in my own eyes. Yeah, right. Like, I talked about pillars of the community before. That's not immunity. You know, like, we still hold each other to standards and everything like that. All that sappy shit. I love video games a lot more than a lot of average people do. So that's how I see things. And just please be respectful to others. I will try to be as respectful as I can be to you guys. So please do the same to each other. You can say whatever to me. It is what it is. But moving on, I want to talk about my positives. So my positives for the game. For me personally, I like the visuals. I thought it looked pretty decent. I liked the colors, the gunplay, the aesthetic of everything, the character aesthetics. I thought it was all sick. I thought it was very unique. And even I'm not the type of person to really go for visuals like that, but like, I'll play anything. It could look like absolute garbage, and if the gameplay is good enough, I'll play it. So to have I like it a little bit more than most things that I see. I'll say that. It's not groundbreaking for me, but I like it a little bit more than most things. Next, the gunplay looks solid and like it'll be easy to translate from the games that I already played. Play a lot of Halo. Well, I say a lot of Halo. Every once in a while, I'll go back and play Halo, Master Chief Collection, or something like that. But I play a lot of Destiny. And I will tell you, the gunplay has always been one of the best things about Bungie games since they started making them. Even Marathon. Like I said in the last video, I've been playing Marathon again just because it's so, like, it's really fun. And like, bro, it's great. It's great. It's so smooth. It's so, I don't know, it's intriguing, all that stuff. So I feel like that does translate well in terms of Bungie-isms. I think that'll be fun. And it'll be a solid game at the very least. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. So also another solid point. Solo queue option and final extraction timer seem to be solid. So I understand a lot of people want a solo queue only matchmaking mode, which honestly I agree with. That would be really fun. I would like that because I am a solo player. A lot of the times I play games a lot more than other people are able to because I'm a full-time student. I don't really do much else other than schoolwork and play games and make YouTube videos and stuff. To be able to play games by myself is a big factor in how much I play them in general. If it's so bad to where I can't really be in a match without getting absolutely obliterated every single time, and I'm not talking about like just not being able to adapt or not having the right equipment or something like that, or making stupid mistakes. I'm talking about things that are like extremely, it's just oppressing to be in there. You know, I don't think the solo queue that they have right now will be bad. Being able to play by yourself, even though everybody else can have squads, you'll probably have mixed squads of like some duos, some trios, and some solos as well. Especially it being Marathon and how much they're talking about environmental storytelling, you'll see a lot of people like me that want to just explore and get things as they go. I'm not trying to grind and get everything day one and be absolutely stacked up. I'm just trying to get in and experience the journey of it and experience the game. That's usually how I play Bungie games anyways. The next point, puzzles and environments have a lot of potential. I hate to put this on the positives list because it's kind of a straw man argument. I don't think I'm using the right terminology. I'm just going to leave that. I don't think it would be fair to count it as a positive point if it's not something that's confirmed. So we saw some things about puzzles. We saw some talks about puzzles from other creators talking about how you had to like find elements within the environment that weren't highlighted on your HUD and like stuck out real easy. It was like stuff that you could legitimately stumble across, figure out, solve, and get things from it. I thought that was cool. And then really early in development, they talked about being able to find one-of-a-kind artifacts that unlock specific parts of the map that'll lead us into the next area, and it will require the whole community to work together to solve these puzzles and do things like that. That sounds fantastic. And I know it's called an extraction shooter, but like I said, I don't think Bungie is framing it in a way that they mean. Because, I mean, we know them pretty well. We've been playing their games for a minute, and if you've played Destiny at all or seen Destiny recently, there's a lot to it. They've changed it a whole lot, and there's no way that they didn't learn from past stuff. It's not the same game, and it's not even made by entirely the same people, but at the same time, it comes from Bungie. It's the same studio, and they hold that sentiment with all of their games. That's how they see them. So, that being said, I think that there's a lot of potential for the things that they want to do. The only thing is, I really, really hope that they have just stuck to their guns this whole time, and the reason why they're not telling too much information is because they just want it to be how it is. They don't want too much overlay and too much input into what's going on. I don't think anybody knows about too much story stuff or the rest of the game. I think they've only been playing on the actual multiplayer aspect of it, which is another thing that kind of makes it a little rough to say that the puzzles environments is a positive point, because none of us really know what they're doing as far as story or anything like that. Like, we saw gameplay, people talked about gameplay, the developers talked about gameplay, and specifically talked about the elements of the gameplay that they were focusing on. All they did was harp on runner versus runner, PvE, the feeling of being in combat, all this stuff, but they did not talk at all about how the ambience is, how creepy it feels to walk through, or how powerful you feel when you have the gear, or what story elements are going on and how you'll experience that story and things like that. We don't have any information. So, I don't know, that's not even really a positive, that's a neutral point. To my last point, my last point kind of ties into what I was saying already. The things, and I'm just saying the points that I wrote down in my notes. So I said the things that could be are looking sweet, but we still don't know. Like I said, right, I don't really want to say that's a positive, but it kind of is, because it looks like there's a lot of potential and a lot that Bungie could work with. We just don't know until we see the execution. I doubt the closed alpha is going to have any of that in it. We're probably just going to play the exact same build that the creators had, or who knows, maybe they will just drop something crazy in that alpha, and then we'll start to, we'll have like a ARG with the closed alpha and all that stuff. But I mean, I don't know, if they expect people not to share things, then I don't know how that would be possible. But either way, most of it's speculation. So in my last video, I was trying to talk about just the toxic things that happen as far as responses, not necessarily criticizing people for their negative opinions on stuff. That is fine, and I feel like I did say that at the end of the last video, but maybe I didn't. I was pretty sure I closed out with like, hey man, at the end of the day, you do you. Just don't be so toxic to people and chill out a little bit. Because like, legitimately, the way I'm seeing this, right, I'm getting the opportunity to play an extraction shooter that's made by Bungie. I've been itching to play an extraction shooter that hasn't been so rough, and this will probably be it for me. We'll see when the game comes out, right? For me right now, story and stuff like that is secondary to the game just feeling good, because I know from experience, Destiny did not exactly have the greatest story elements and the greatest linear stories or the greatest experiences, but I can promise you the gameplay was fun the whole time, and that's why I still play the game. That's why I still drag myself through the Crucible and through PvP, because it's still just fun. It feels good, and the experience is great, and you can feel growth in your gameplay. So, I don't know. I hope Marathon is like that. We'll see. So this is the last thing I wrote in my notes. I said, all in all, I'm excited to play, but not in the same way I was excited to play Destiny or Halo. The thing is, though, I don't really care about where Marathon sits amongst its predecessors. I'm just excited to see what Bungie does with this game. Honestly, that is really it. That's how I feel about it, and nothing too deep, nothing too crazy. I know I was like really exasperated in the last video. I don't know, I just get passionate about this stuff, man. So yeah, I'm sorry if I came across as like trying to tell you your opinions are not valid. I definitely do think so. Just I don't think it's right to tell other streamers and creators that they are, you know, stupid or falling off or they're dick riding just because they didn't say the game was going to be absolute shit like you wanted them to. Like, I understand, bro, I'm part of the Destiny community. It's been rough, and there have been long breaks that I've taken. I've taken long breaks, 6-month breaks, 3-month breaks, 9-month breaks, the Corey Kenshin breaks on playing Destiny. But you know, it's Destiny to me. It means something to me, and a lot of the other people that play it, that's the same case for them. I know a lot of people say like, oh, you know, there was a comment on the last video that said a lot of the people that have as many hours as I do only have that many hours because they're trying to get their money's worth. But if you've played Destiny as long as I have, you know that you are not going to get your money's worth in terms of like objectively thinking about it like that. But there's a lot of games that don't do that either, and those communities are still rock solid with them because that's their game. That's what Destiny is for me. And I know that Marathon is not my Destiny, so I'm not going to think about it like that. And I'm not going to think about it like Halo either. That time is gone. If I want Halo, I'll play Halo. If I want Destiny, I'll play Destiny. If I want those feelings of playing those games and that sometimes nostalgia, sometimes comfort, sometimes, you know, relaxation, it comes from these places. And I hold them all near and dear, but those are different eras in my life, and I hold them all separately. That's just me. For a lot of other people, it may not be the same case, but for me, that's how I feel about it. They're all different. Marathon came out 30 plus years ago. I wasn't even alive for 10 years until the game was 10 years old, and that's when I was born, much less all the more time that I had of not playing the game and knowing about it at all. So for me, this isn't necessarily like my first Marathon experience, but this would be like if Halo Reach came out today and you played Halo 3 back in 2007 and you played Halo 1, 2, and 3 back in 2007, and then they announced Halo Reach and the only thing they showed was a quick PvP match, and that was it, like a Slayer match. That's pretty much like what this translates to. So that time period, like I have no idea. I know all the things I know about Marathon and all the gameplay and all the story and everything like that because I got it all at once recently, not as it was coming out. So that vibe of Marathon, that feeling of Marathon, it's not there for me like that. And a lot of other people, I know y'all are gonna say otherwise, but you are not old enough to even have done that. So that's one of the things that I was bringing up, is like, I know my perspective is some way, but I can at least tell you that I know why I have this perspective on the game, because I got it all at once and I got it all condensed. There's so many lore videos. You can go to archive websites, all kind of stuff, because it came out in '93. So like, we got all that. For me, it's just different. I'm not like I mean, I have some theories because this is a sequel and the new Marathon is going to be 99 years after the first game, but at least I mean, I said what I said, you know. It is what it is. That being said, I want to know what you guys think about Marathon and how you feel about it, and if you're going to play it or not. Like I said, I'm excited to hear about what you guys have to say about it, and you know, you can say whatever you want in the comments. I would say argue. I was gonna say you could argue about it, but not everything is an argument. You can just state how you feel about it, and that's it. Like, I'll give you a response, or maybe I even won't. You know, I'll just read what you have to say, and I'll take it to heart. But the last guy or whoever it was that commented on the last video, I really appreciate you, because you really made me realize that I need to get on this a lot sooner than later. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the rest of you. Subscribe if you want to. If I can get away with it, or if they change any NDA stuff, if I get into the closed alpha, then I'll see what I could do about it, or like talk about it or whatever. I'll check the rules and stuff, but maybe we'll go over it when I get to play it. Otherwise, subscribe if you'd like the video if you would like, leave a comment, tell me how you feel about it, and I will see you guys in the next video.